Hello, here I am back with my promised follow-up on the cards I made using the pieces foiled in the exploration of foiling using embossing folders. So first of all, let's have a quick look at the cards and then I'll go through more detail what I did. So this is the one. I'm going to need to tilt the camera down, hold on, that's better. So this is the one where I put the foiling around the edge with that swirly embossing frame and did it on both corners. So I've cut that with an oval die and matted it onto some nice deep purple card. Then I picked out some backing paper for it, and I quite like this with the dark stripe up the middle. That worked well with the card I'd chosen for my mats. I decided it needed something more, so in the background I've done some more foiling onto my backing paper so that I've actually got a frame around my oval, and then I've just added some die cut flowers in the corner, in both corners. Okay, so that's that one. I will come back to that frame in a moment. So this is the card. I'd got all the bits ready for this one. I kind of showed you how it was going to be, but that's all put together now. So that's that card, and this was done with a embossing folder that came with the recent Tonic magazine. I think it's issue 5 of their magazine crafting kit. So that's that one. And we have our wildcat in the snow. So we've got this was the kind of grasses around the edge embossing folder, so that's there on that one, and it's just peeping out from behind some die cut foliage. I cut an aperture into my backing paper, put it on some foam so you actually get more dimension with that. Okay. And then this is the other one. This is where the one I used the inks around the edges. The same embossing folder as used for the cat. Now I actually found when I came to cut this out that a lot of my nesting die sets weren't the right shape, or they didn't quite go big enough to give me a mountain of layer without being absolutely huge. So I settled on this one. I've gone for quite bold colours, and I think it's worked. So I've stamped and heat embossed a peacock on my topper, so it's embossed in with black embossing powder, and then I painted it with mica powders. They were Crafters mica powder. They've got a fixer in it so that when you mix it with water and paint it, it doesn't come off once it dries. It stays nice and down, but it gives a nice shimmery effect. I think that works well with the foil, which still peeps out from behind the flower border there. Okay, and then I've done a forward sentiment to go with it. So let's go back to this one, because this is a big hot foil stamp. It's from this set. It's a Todo set of hot foil stamps, and it's one of the biggest I've got, and actually I had never used it. I still use my Todo for die cutting, but I found foiling on it, I found it, anything kind of this size just tended to move about. Couldn't get it where I want it. I didn't get all the foiling evenly with even pressure on it. So yeah, tried it a few times, gave up. So I was being quite brave when I decided I was going to put this onto my backing paper. So what I did first, this backing paper, it's from a 12 by 12 paper pad. You see, there's the bottom half of it, or the bottom piece of it. So I'd cut it to size, the exact size I wanted before I went any further. And then the piece that's over, I did a trial run with that. So, and actually before I did that, I foiled it in silver on some plain white card just to make sure I was going to get pressure all the way around in all the right places, and that I hadn't got any issues that weren't going to be easily solved. And then I needed to make sure that the foil was going to transfer onto this card, my 12 by 12 pad, because it's not particularly smooth. So I needed to test that out. And as you can see, successful test. I wasn't too worried that it didn't fit entirely. So, you know, it doesn't fit on there. But that was going to be enough to make sure I didn't have any patchy foiling. So I did that first. But the other thing was, this frame, it's got very definite bits that mark the centres, and it's got, you know, it's a rectangle, it's got straight sides. So if it wasn't in the middle or in a definite position, so you could have offset it into one corner and had it equal distances from the edges, but I needed to make absolutely certain that it was lined up properly and straight. So I have this ruler. It's branded X-Cut, and I bought it when I first started crafting because it's got this a metal inlay in the edge, so you can use it with a rotary cutter. That's what I bought it for. But then when I've been trying to line things up, I've realised that, I really don't know if you'll see this, let me find some paper to put behind it. Okay, its markings are on there twice, so you've got normal measurements along the top edge, and then halfway down it starts at 1 in the middle, and that's a centre line. So you can line that up with the edges of your card and get it in the middle, as long as you know what half the size of your card is. So let me get a piece of paper. So let's assume this is my piece of cardstock. I'm going to tilt the camera down further, bear with me. That's better, you can see my crafting mat now. So let's assume I've got a piece of card here, and I need to find the middle of it. So the long edges, this is A4 card, so that's 21 centimetres, so 10.5, so line each end up with the 10.5 marks on the ruler, and there's my midpoint. And if I take my hot foil stamp, you can tell where the midpoint is because that the pattern tells you. Right, just move those out of the way so I can line that up. Okay, because this has also got sort of grid lines on it, I can actually make sure that I'm parallel with the edge of the card as well. So that comes down there. Okay, and then I can turn it round. You might also want to use a magnetic sheet underneath to stop the die from sliding, the foiling template from sliding around. And then you do the same with the bottom. So the bottom on this piece of card is A4 again, which is just a fraction under 15 centimetres. So if I just look for the 7.5 mark, and go just under it at either end, and I can see that I'm the same distance from those ½ centimetre marks at either end. Okay, and so then I need to bring that up to where the die is, and then you slide the middle of the die along so that it lines up with the middle of the ruler. Okay, so I'm not sure now if I've disturbed the distance it should be up and down, so I'm just going to turn it around and recheck the other one. So 10.5 at that end and 10.5 at that end, lined up with my edge of my card, and yeah, that seems fine. and I've got the foiling template upside down here, so you can see the detail, but you do it with it turned over. Let me do that. There we are. And in fact, I put some marks with a pen on the back, so that's okay that way. I'm not sure that's okay that way. It doesn't look quite right. That way maybe. That's it. And then I'm going to check the other edge. Make sure. Oops. Make sure. 10.5. Yeah, I thought I'd move that. Okay. So it's easier to work on a magnetic sheet, so that the metalwork doesn't move around too easily. And that's how I got it exactly in the middle of my piece of pattern paper. I really couldn't do this by trial and error. I have one more sheet of this. Yeah, I think we've all been there. It's got to work right when you do it. So that's how I did that. But then I thought, well, okay, I'm quite comfortable with measuring. It doesn't bother me. But what if I can't measure? Not everybody can, take measurements, halve them. Not everyone's comfortable doing that. So I got a piece of scrap paper, same size, A5, so a piece of copy of paper, folded in half, cut in half, and then I cut a strip from the long edge, and somewhere here I took the other half and I cut a strip from the other edge, and I folded it in half, and I've marked the centre. So I've folded it in half literally so that I get the centre, and then I've marked it with a pen. And then I've used some 2-in-1 glue, the sort that if you leave it to dry it just goes tacky and will never stick permanently. So I used a zig glue pen for that. So I can do the same thing with this. I can line up the edges of my strip of paper and use that mark on the paper to line up the die, and then I can go down to my other edge and change my strip of paper, the other one, and then I can line that up at the centre there, the end of my paper lined up with the edge of my piece that I'm going to be foiling onto. Make sure that lines up, and then that would be in place, and I would have my foil underneath to start with and tape it down. Okay, so that's how I did that. So hopefully that's helped you see how you get from bits that you foil to completed cards. Okay, I promise I'll do a follow-up. There it is. Quick look at them again. So the peacock, you've still got the foil peeping out here. Hopefully that's the camera is picking that up. We have our lovely wild cat with the foiling around the edge. I say this one I showed in the previous video that I hadn't stuck down. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed the follow-up, and I shall be back soon with some more ideas.